Okay, everyone, I hope that we are live on YouTube. I hope that you guys can hear me. I'm going to allow you guys to have a little bit of time to let me know that you are on. Please check my YouTube and let me know that you're on there if you are. I'm hoping the sound is okay. Maybe I should jump on and check. So this is my first time going live on YouTube with new equipment. So I'm hoping that everything is good. I want to welcome everybody on. I'm going to pray in a second. I got to do a sound check to make sure the sound is good. And then we're going to break things down. I see that 5 are watching. Okay, so Sandra is saying that the sound is good. Can you hear me clearly if I get closer to the mic like this? Can you hear me clearly, everybody? Let me know. I apologize for being fresh and new at this. My video might skip a little bit. As a matter of fact, I'm going to turn off the video on my controlling device, which is my computer. I'm going to shut that off because I don't want to have too much bandwidth going through the system at once. And my other device is the only one that is important for you guys to be able to see. But I do have some amazing things for you guys to hear about and see today. Oh my gosh. Liz, I believe her name is Krauken, reported some things the other day that has changed the way that we look at what's happening with the news media. Number one, Mrs. Liz Krauken, I'm hoping I'm saying her name correctly. She reported to us that there was a woman in the media. You guys can put her name down if you know her name. This isn't the important part of the story. But 3 years ago, she had information on what was happening with criminality inside of the Epstein investigation. She knew that information was being hidden. She had pictures, she said. She had all types of information showing that this man was trafficking children. He was having sex with children. Now, why is this important? This is super important because we know now with proof that because she told how she had this information, we know now that the news media is hiding sexual exploitation of children because she had evidence and she admitted it. She told us she knew what was going on, which can't be taken back. You can't say I made a mistake and said that. So we can clearly see that the news media cannot be trusted when it comes to having information and evidence of real sexual exploitation. But in the midst of her talking about that, it does take our investigation into how much is being done by media when it comes to exposing stories that could put their job on the line, because she blamed it on her editors. She said that her editors did not want to allow that information to go out. And so she decided not to let it go out. Now, this is important because if your position, if your job prevents you from telling the truth, then you become guilty of hiding felonies. You know that kids are getting raped. You know these devilish, evil things are happening, but you're not going to tell anybody. So that kind of gives us a different dynamic. It helps us to understand that the news media may, for any reason, hide information that gives them a benefit, right? Now, let's take it a little bit further. I need to share on Facebook that I'm on YouTube Live so everybody can come on and see what's going on. Of course, we're probably going to get a whole lot of trolls because we're talking about some things that people may not want us to discuss. So just be aware of that. Try not to lose focus on what we're talking about because this is super important. Furthermore, let's deal with what Liz said. So Liz said that, and I don't want to just call her Liz, so Mrs. Kraukin, I believe is how you pronounce her name. She came out and explained that the government is literally taking part in the trafficking of children. She actually came out and said that it was revealed that the CIA was taking part in schemes to steal children and traffic them for wealthy people that the FBI knew. And I see some truth to that, because one thing that we got to realize is that our president, Donald Trump, released some classified documents proving that these children were trafficked from their school, which means that there had to be school officials present. Now, let's look at this and think about this critically. My schooling is in psychology, and I understand that sometimes what happens is that people will try to get us to a point where we won't look at certain things by design because we are trained to ignore them. And for a lot of people, they fail to understand that. They ask this question: why, if this is real, did the news media not tell? Why, if this is real, is the FBI not investigating? Why, if this is real, why is it that nobody knows? Now, all three of those questions we need to look at critically, and we have to understand the psychology of criminals. We have to understand our own psychology, because I think we might be doing ourselves a great disservice by doing things this way. And somebody share this on Facebook for me. Let me write down on Facebook that I'm on here, and I didn't pray yet either. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for what you were allowing us to reveal, Father. You have struck our hearts with great information that's deep, Father, that's fire. And we just ask that you be with us as we look through these things. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay. I'm going to let everybody know I'm on this live on Facebook. YouTube, I mean. Okay. So what we need to realize is that this is how many of the trolls use the same techniques to go against the truth. So when these people were stealing kids, having sex with kids, doing all types of evil things back in the day, I think you can go to where it says share up under the Zoom video, Sandra, and it'll allow you to share it to Facebook. Now, this is going to blow you guys away. So back then, news companies would say, like they did with Epstein, this isn't real, it's fake, Pizzagate is fake. You remember how they did us a few years ago? The news media treated parents and regular people like clowns when they tried to tell that people were trafficking their children, having sex with their kids. They tried to make it seem like it could not exist. Now, we need to take this into consideration when we look at what's happening now. Because when people come out now and say that we believe that children are being trafficked, news media will laugh at us. They will try to make it seem like we're crazy. We don't know what we're talking about. We are full of crap, right? And then we see a year or two later that it comes out that no, these same people were actually stealing kids. These same people were actually having sex with kids. These same people are actively working in systems where they are raping kids. Now, this is important because the psychology of the average person says there's no way this can happen. And then news media comes out and says these people are sovereign citizens, they're crazy, they believe this, that they're raping kids, right? But then we're finding out that the news media is helping to suppress the stories, and I'll prove it. So the woman who came out as a news reporter and said that they wouldn't let her show stories of the abuse that happened with Epstein and how kids were really getting raped, why didn't she approach the FBI? Why can't she show us that she went to federal judges and gave them the evidence? Why is it that she can't show that she went to the county and showed evidence? Why is it that nobody can show that they gave this evidence to the people so that we can do something about it to vindicate the people who all said that something was going on, right? Why didn't this happen, right? Why didn't this happen? Now let's take it a step further. She had evidence of the criminality. For her own reasons, she did not put it out there after they told her she had to shut up. But this is still criminal activity. So we realize that it doesn't matter to these people. They will do criminal activity and hide it, right? They'll hide it if it doesn't benefit them when it comes to their work. This is the same thing we see with attorneys. So people in the media will just shut down. This woman tells us that these things happen, but why didn't she approach government officials and try to show all the evidence like crazy? Now, we can see with the fentanyl situation and Mike Gill that Mike Gill went all over the place. We saw him trying to give evidence to the FBI. The FBI kept shutting him down. They trespassed him, told him not to come on their property, right? So this is deep. They trespassed him and kicked him away, but they're supposed to be the FBI investigating what's going on. But the moment that regular people do something that the FBI doesn't like, they want to investigate. You got to think about this. So when corporate entities are trafficking kids, when corporate entities are raping kids, when they are trampling people's rights, the FBI doesn't want to investigate. But when somebody goes against one of these corporate entities that's doing these evil things, the FBI now got a problem. So we got to realize that the FBI might be being used as a criminal enterprise cover, right? Now, let's see if we can see some things that might prove that that is true. So let's look at this story that Liz Krauken told us about the other day. And just like always, I don't just take people's word for it. I go and I look and I see if I can find truth, right? I want to know if I could find where these things so-called happen. Let me see. I want to see if I can find where these things have happened. And if I can't find it, then I usually don't talk about it very much. Or if I can't at least find some type of proof, right, that these things have happened, I'm really not that interested in the story. So what I want to do, what I want to do is show you guys a few pages so we can deal with this issue, because we should not be having conversation without documentation. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you this page. So it should be popping up any second now for you guys. Let me know if you can see it. It's on the screen share. There we go. All right, so maybe I'm gonna try to make it bigger. Can y'all see this bigger now? Okay, let's see what it says. And I'm sorry, I can't see what you guys are speaking now. Please forgive me. But watch this. So we see where it says FBI facsimile cover sheet, priority, right? Sender's initials, it looks like CJR or, yeah, CJR, number of pages 5, to SAC WMFO, right? 12694. Now, it is 2019. What we are seeing here is a FBI cover sheet from 1994. Okay, so we got 94, 2004, 2014 plus 5 years, so about 25 years. Palm Beach County, subject, Finders Group. Now watch this. White Slave Traffic Act, sexual exploitation of children, obstruction of justice, right? And we see the telephone number, we see the seal of the Washington field office, right, of the FBI. Now, what I want to do is I want to go through and read some of these things so we can get an understanding of what we're seeing here. Now, Donald Trump dropped this evidence really close to the time that this man, Timothy Holmseth, is fighting people who are saying that what he's saying is untrue and there's no way possible that people could have kids underground and the news not show it And if this was really happening, we would all know and we would all be able to see it. Well, I don't necessarily know if that's the case, because what's happening here is we're finding a situation where we are reading documents from the 90s that most people didn't know about. So it looks like it's redacted where a name is. It says, he stated, has maintained that there is a nationwide conspiracy among individuals involved. Now look at this. The federal has noticed that there has been a nationwide conspiracy. Now, the first thing we got to do is look and see that people have tried to shame us for telling that there are nationwide conspiracies. We're not going to say that word. Psychologically conditioned not to say it. But look at what this says. There is nationwide conspiracy among individuals involved in satanic worship and sexual child abuse. These people, guys, were almost evidence that there were tunnels that they were using to rape them. If there are tunnels that are used, and I'm hoping that my screen didn't just show, just give me a second. Did I just freeze? Let me know if I just froze, guys. Okay, I think I'm back. Okay, so it was shown that there were tunnels, right? There were tunnels that were used to take these children, and the only reason these people didn't get prosecuted is because nobody could find the tunnels. But let's look at this. We're going to see some deep stuff, guys. This is nuts, okay? This is nuts. Okay, so involved in satanic worship and sexual child abuse, with members being located in the Stuart, Florida area, but they said it was nationwide. So we don't need to just know that they were in Florida. We need to know they were nationwide. To date, Sergeant whoever advised he has located no hard evidence of any organized sexual abuse in the area, but noted there is similarity in sexual abuse cases that have occurred in different parts of the country. Sergeant whatever did not volunteer, but when asked, admitted he was looking into a group called the Finders. However, he did not have any confirmed criminal activity at this time. 10/21/93, operatives, a day school from which during the past year, he advised numerous parents have withdrawn their children. So parents were withdrawing their children because there was enough evidence that something was done wrong. Occurring at or being done by individuals at the Jensen Beach preschool concerning the Jensen Beach elementary school, right? So we can see they're trying to erase stuff so that it is not known what is happening. Where parents are also withdrew their children from attendance. So whatever's happening is so bad that they have parents are moving, but they try to tell us we're stupid or we even think about it. Attacking Timothy Holmseth. Now we gotta look and say, this is eerily shocking and similar to what Timothy Holmseth says. Now, this is evidence, guys, that we know Donald Trump just released. Now you gotta think about this. If Donald Trump released this, this means crooks and criminals are doing stuff. So he's doing information drops that was in the files of the FBI. And if this was in the files of the FBI, doesn't that mean FBI knows that there's information that happened with these kids that was classified that they did not tell the American people? And the news did not tell the American people? So the families who had this news, but we don't have news out the water and telling and letting the kids tell their story and attacking this along with the FBI showing the evidence. So at some place, this had to get stonewalled, right? Now watch this. Can't see the name, has alleged that the Finders are involved in a well-organized child abuse scheme. Now, we need to pay attention to this because our kids are getting involved in well-organized child abuse scams because they're taking our little ones and we're finding that our little ones are getting caught up in dirty situations, and CPS is snatching them and is well organized. Watch this. And that whoever is talking about that's hidden, redacted, in conjunction with guys, this is freaking huge. This is freaking huge, and I hope you can hear me. It is a well-organized child abuse scheme. We know it's satanic, and they're raping and abusing kids. Parents remove their kids from school, but it says, and that somebody redacted, conjunction, I'm sorry, with the State Department and the FBI's Foreign Counterintelligence Segment of those USCS something. I want to say satanic something. No, I don't know what it is. Contacted by MFO. Let's see what that word is. Documentation concerning finders. Investigation by WFMFO in this matter will also include an interview of something in now. Pissed about that. So I'm completely back on. And let's see. Let's see if we can get this back working. They just kicked me completely off the live. I was live on 2 devices. So hopefully that stops that stopped them from booting me all the way off. I'm gonna go back to sharing content. Freaking clowns ain't gonna stop me, right? Okay. We're back on. All right, so I hope you guys can hear me right now. They are really trying to mess up my audio. Stuff is spinning and looking crazy, right? Now you're being cut out. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me, because you don't. All right. Notice and review of any documentation in the presence of something, the State Department Passport Office, and the Foreign Counterintelligence Division, FBI headquarters. Now, this is where it's going to get crazy, and I hope you guys can see that. I'm not adding anybody in on a Zoom ID. Oh, that's James Mack. Okay, that's somebody good. All right, I had to make sure it wasn't a troll. Let me finish this up, because I want to get this out before they kick me off all the way. Now, what we need to do is we need to look at this picture right here. Can y'all see this shared? Can y'all see the share here? Now, this is going to get dirty, because we're going to see something that's deep, because Timothy Holmseth just said something that's crazy to the average person, right? Timothy Holmseth just said something that's crazy. Now, Liz Krauken came out and said that under this McMartin school, that these evil satanic finders were trafficking kids through there so that they could be raped. And it got to the point that people started removing their kids from the schools. They had real evidence, and we can clearly see that it is what it is, right? So what I want to do is share this with you. Watch this. The tunnels found at the McMartin preschool. Now, Donald Trump, a preliminary report, Donald Trump came out and exposed this. That shows that he's a real freaking president, because he's showing us what they don't want us to see. Watch this. A formal report will be released when forensic tests are concluded. 45-foot tunnel, guys. That's enough to take a kid up underground, get them to somewhere else to rape them, and nobody would ever know what happened. Watch this. 45-foot tunnel, 9-foot wide, subterranean, meaning underground entrance, found under west wall of the dog room, classroom 4, redacted classroom. Avocado tree roots cut on both sides of the entrance. Disney bag, copyright 1982, found 4.5 feet deep below. the classroom floor and 3 inches to 6 inches in front of the entrance of the under foundation classroom floor. Tunnel proceeded south, then east 45 feet through classroom 4 and 3, and north, then cast 10 feet within classroom 4. Tunnels were 30 inches wide, 44 to 46 inches deep, with top of the tunnel 30 inches under the classroom floor. The footing between classroom 3 and 4 arched where the tunnel passed underneath and 12 foot shorter in depth at this location than same footing 12 feet to then north. So one thing that I want you guys to understand is somebody is creating tunnels, and they're creating tunnels that is not destroying the foundation the school, which means that you have some sort of masons or some type of people who are able to do this work, dig these tunnels so that they can use it to have sex with the kid. And then what they're doing is that they have to have somebody who's qualified to do this, or you're going to have a problem getting it done. Now, let's see what else we see. It says, other significant facts, a small white plastic, I'm sorry, let's go up a little bit more, where it says 7-foot tunnel extending into the triplex next door. So you got a 7-foot tunnel extending into the triplex next door. Tunnel extended from the bathrooms of the office and classroom 1 to the front yard of the triplex next door. Front yard concealed from street by 3-car garage. Children describe entrance and exiting tunnel in triplex yard exactly where tunnel and exit were found. Come on, guys. The kids freaking told, but you sound crazy when you say this kind of stuff, right? Watch this. A 39-inch by 41-inch area under a hole cut in the neighbor's bathroom floor had been excavated and subsequently filled. Now we find that there was a guy on YouTube that told about how there were people coming up with 18-wheeler trucks next to his house. He got shot through the ground, right? Underground was a tunnel going to the house next door into the backyard that was covered with boxes. This was on YouTube, and a man was explaining how they were trafficking the kids in trucks through the floor, through next door. Somebody let me know if you can hear me every once in a while and if the sound is okay, because this is freaking fire, guys. Now, let's look deeper. Other significant facts, a small white plastic plate with 3 pentagrams, satanic symbols, hand drawn on top of light green plastic, was found at by the archaeologists in the stratified dirt in the play yard. Per historical archaeologists, pentagrams were hand drawn by an adult and not part of the manufacturer's design. Many other artifacts found, whose analysis will be released upon the completion of tests. No doorknobs were on the classroom 3 door, only a deadbolt lock. Each classroom had on and off light switch labeled fire alarm. System did not connect to fire station, but was used with an alert within the schools. All right, more than 2,000 artifacts were found under the school floor, including animal bones. All right, so we know a lot of times in ritualistic sacrifice, what they will do is use the bones of animals in order to allow children to kill the animals as part of this process that they're putting the children through, right? Now, I gotta let you guys see all of this, because what happens is that people want to call you crazy when you come out and you start telling the truth. People want to call you crazy when you're showing facts, and this is what the news media has been able to do. They spent the whole freaking Epstein situation to make it look like there was no Pizzagate, to make it look like there was nothing true, to make it look like all these things were all is 100% legit. And the FBI and the State Department likes to cover this stuff up. So we don't have to be stupid and continue to wait for these people to let us say that this could be real. Watch this. Columbia, Washington, D.C., who decline, what is this? Prosecution for violation of Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 1201, kidnapping, and 2251, sexual exploitation of children. was the WFO case agent in this manner. DOJ review of VSCS, whatever it is, documents indicated that during the execution of the search warrant by the MPD at the two finders' properties, VSCS SA claims to have observed a substantial amount of computer equipment and documents purportedly containing instructions for obtaining children for unspecified purposes. Well, we know what the purposes were now. The instructions allegedly included the impregnation of female members of the community, purchasing children and trading children and kidnapping them. Well, we know what the specified purposes are if they're doing that, right? So we can't let these people continue to play these games. Government of the District of Columbia, Metropolitan Police Department, Morals Division, file report. Now, this is going to get nasty, guys. We got to pay really good attention, right? Really good attention. You should be able to see it. I made it kind of big. The customs representatives stated that 6 children have been located in Florida along with 2 men, and children were dirty, unkept, insect bitten, underfed, and possibly sexually abused. U.S. Customs stated they had tried to contact the representatives of the Finders Act without success, and they feared that the children were being abused at that address and were unsure if the children had been kidnapped from their parents. Detective, whoever, right? Let me make it a little bit bigger and move my other screen out the way. Okay. Detective, whatever, was put into contact with investigator whoever, and of the Tallahassee police who led investigators in the case, who were the lead investigators in the case, please forgive me. Someone told that the children were recovered in Tallahassee, Florida after a call to the police stating that 6 children were being kept in the back of a van near a Florida park. The police responded to the location, determined the children were in fact in poor condition, and tried to question 2 men identified as whoever, refused to answer questions by the police and were arrested for child neglect. The children were interviewed by the Tallahassee police, stated that they were en route to a smart school in Mexico and could not give away any positive information concerning their parents. Whoever stated that the children were all extremely hungry and urinated and defecated on the floor during the interviews. Stated that the children also talked about the children in Washington, D.C., and stated that they were under the control of the gamer call. So there's somebody, right? We can't see. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty and friggin' talk, right? Okay, there we go. Video just popped back up. Now, let's get down to the freaking nitty-gritty, y'all. So with all this being said, I understand psychologically what is being done to us. We are dealing with a situation where there is a psychological warfare that happens against people who come out and tell what's going on. Somebody let me know if you guys can hear me and everything is good. So we are seeing a situation where psychological warfare is being used against the people in order to make sure that we don't come out and just see the truth and say what it is, right? Because they use social pressure and social engineering to make sure that you look crazy if you come out and say these things. But once again, like I always say, we don't make conversation without documentation. But make a connection here because the FBI, the State Department, government officials, these finders, these people who are going and snatching kids, we're all working together team with school officials in order to take children, in order to rape children, in order to do satanic abuse. So that means that there are some real Satanists that are working and doing this as a business to make sure that they are able to take kids. They want to make sure that they are able to have sex with kids, get them involved with satanic sacrifice and different things like that. It is happening. It was hidden by the news, hidden by the FBI, covered up by many people, and made classified. So Donald Trump had to find this and get it out there. So it shows you that Donald Trump is actually helping the people. Now, the strange thing is right around the time where people said that what Timothy Holmseth said about 2,100 kids getting recovered underground could not have possibly happened. Well, that really is a bunch of bull, because we can see now in the 1980s, they were actually using underground tunnels to steal kids and rape kids. Y'all see this? They were using underground tunnels, the State Department, the freaking federal government workers, the FBI, who ain't got no charter, school teachers, and other people were working together to cover up and be part of raping kids. The news media got access to information and they allowed it to just be shut down. So when Timothy Holmseth says that there's government officials who are caught underground in Cali, I'm sorry, there's government officials who are running an underground base system with tunnels. And we realize that in these underground tunnels, we have kids who Timothy Holmseth has been raped and abused and used for bad purposes. Can we then say that Timothy Holmseth is crazy when we're finding that government officials knew that kids were getting raped underground and hid the information? All right. We know this is the case. So if we know this is happening 100%, we know that Timothy Holmseth proved this, or he said it, right? Could it be that he just has more knowledge than what we have about what is going on? Because exactly what this man is saying is happened before. And we have proof that the FBI and the news media and government officials and department all hid the fact that it was really happening. They all hid it. So to prove that there is a connection here, and this can be highly likely and true, what I'm going to do is make conversation with documentation. So could it be that Trump could have sent 21, military, he activated military for one. So we got to see, that ain't normal. He activated military, sent some military to Cali, right? Why would he do that? People were reporting that there were helicopters up underground, over the ground, and that fires were coming from underground through manholes, right? We can see video and picture of stuff seeming to explode in different areas of Cali, which was said to be where they were blowing up the exit to the tunnel so that these evil people couldn't run. Let's look at this. This is an article from military.com. It says, Army is spending $500 million to train soldiers to fight underground, right? This is when Trump was in office. Aryan Hawk troops raid a tunnel complex during training at West Fort Hood. This was part of a larger training operation that included recon missions and air movement and live fire. Now, notice that they said that helicopters were moving across the land when they had this situation where they were fighting underground. Then it says U.S. Army leaders say that the next war will be fought in mega cities, but the service has an ambitious effort to prepare most of its combat brigades to fight not inside, but beneath them, right? So they let us know that it was some war that was going to happen in big cities that we would need to be able to fight under the freaking ground, right? That would sound freaking crazy to most people if you said that the government needed to freaking fight underground. Why does the government need to fight the ground? Because in 2018, it was known that something, right? Something was happening that many people didn't know was happening, right? So something was going on that we may not about or understand. So it was already shown that in 2018, $500 million was spent to fight under the ground. To fight under the ground. Now, there's more articles that show that people were training to fight under the ground in major cities. What do they know that we don't know, right? Something is happening underground. Well, if we go back and we look at what happened with the finders, and we look at what happened with the Justice Department, the State Department, and we look what happened with the FBI and the news hiding things that were happening under the ground. Kids were getting raped up under the ground. Government officials were doing satanic child sacrifice under the ground. And if you really want to think about it, a lot of our high politicians are also members of fraternities and secret orders that have been rumored to be involved with raping of children. If you look at the Jesuits by themselves, the Jesuits just paid a $166 million lawsuit in recent history for satanic child sex abuse, raping kids. All these crazy things they paid $166 million. If you look at most of the foster care entities and foundations, they are ran by the Jesuits or High Vatican. The Vatican has paid almost $4 billion in satanic child sex lawsuits, murder, all types of rape lawsuits, right? So we got to realize that at one time, 2/3 of our Supreme Court was High Jesuit or Vatican. So we understand that something is happening. And so what we got to do is we got to start taking our time and looking and saying, what is going on? What is going on? Something is happening where we need to what we can see is that Timothy Holmseth was correct in what he said. He showed evidence of things that was truth. He showed evidence that what he said made sense. And it is very like what it is that we see with some of these other issues that has happened in the past. So we have to ask the question, is this stuff real or is this stuff fake? Is this stuff real or is this stuff fake? You be the judge.